Hello and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Irham bin Azian. My metric number is 285731. Today I want to present about a study on the Coca-Cola company in the United States, performance and its determinants. So for the introduction, we will talk about problem statement, research objective and research question. Problem statement. Corporate scandals are unethical, immoral and dishonest actions taken by a company or employee. They remain in the public eye for years after they occur, raising concern for government officials and business leaders. The Coca-Cola, a large multinational corporation, has faced numerous crises in recent years, including a decline in its share price from $50 to $59 in 2013. The company's slow growth can be attributed to internal issues such as top management turnover and key investor departures, as well as external problems that have led to a loss of reputation. The company revenue has slipped for the past 4 years due to changing consumer preference and lifestyle. To avoid losing money in the future, the Coca-Cola company must address these changes and focus on producing a variety of beverages that cater to different consumer of groups, such as to those who are wary of sugar intake and to those who enjoy taste without sugary sweetness. Most people are unaware of the company's other beverages, leading them to associate the company with high sugar soft drink. For the research objectives and research question, this research aims to identify internal and external factors influencing the Coca-Cola company's performance in the United States. It is investigate whether there is a relationship between internal and external factors, as well as whether there is a relationship between internal and external factors. To the literature review, first we will talk about performance. Profitability is the relationship between revenue and expenditures. A company's current performance, potential future growth, and working capital management. It is the primary goal of every business endeavor, and a company must evaluate past and current profitability while protecting future profitability. Profitability is one of characterized by a rise in ROA, which is return on assets, and fall in working capital. ROE, which is return on equity, and ROA are metrics used to assess a corporation effectiveness and performance. It is highlighting different aspects of an organization. Second, liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is a significant threat to a firm's financial stability and ability to repay debts without experiencing financial losses. Effective management of liquidity risk helps businesses fulfill obligation and reduce the possibility of systematic effect. There are two types of liquidity risk, which is funding liquidity risk and asset liquidity risk. Asset liquidity risk is controlled by lowering portfolio concentration and market size, while funding liquidity risk is reduced by obtaining credit lines, reducing cash flow gaps, and diversifying funding sources. Liquidity risk significantly impacts on a company ability to conduct successful operation and reputation, as it can lead to losing depositors' trust and damage the business reputation. Third, credit risk. Credit risk is the possibility of a debtor defaulting on contractual obligation. It is affecting both parties' businesses. It is a concern for everyone in business, including bankers. The average collection period is a key key credit risk indicator as it affects a company financial performance. A shorter average collection period is preferred for most companies with primary income from account receivable, as it allows for faster conversion of credit transaction to cash. Lenders use the 5 C's to assess credit risk in consumer loans, with some businesses establishing departments to assess risk related to the current and potential customers. Next, operational risk. Operational risk arise from business operations, not to the products produced or in an industry. It is a concern of how a company operates, and is categorized as human risk due to human created procedures. It differs by industry, and it is important to consider when analyzing potential investment option. Operational risk may exist in essential system and apparatus maintenance, where selecting one option over another modifies the risk linked to the disorganized system. The degree of operational risk is inversely correlated with a degree of system malfunction. The operating ratio measures a corporation management effectiveness by comparing gross operating expenses to sales revenue. Lastly, market risk. Market risk involve fluctuation in raw material prices, inflation, customer preferences, new technology, and increased competition. They can lead to losses for individual or corporation due to financial market performance. Diversification cannot reduce market risk, but it can be using the value at risk method. Market risk can arise from recession, interest rate change, terrorist attacks, and political unrest. The market is exposed for 4 main types of risk, which is first equity price risk, second commodity risk, third interest rate risk, and lastly foreign exchange risk. Is methodology. In methodology, we have four of them, which is number 1, sampling technique, statistical technique, data analysis, and SPSS. For sampling technique, the study compares the performance of the Coca-Cola company in the United States, and it determines using data from 2017 to 2021 annual reports. Performance, which is ROE, is the dependent variable, while internal, external, and external factors are the independent variable. And next, statistical technique. This study analyzed the Coca-Cola company's financial performance from 2017 to 2021 using data from the company annual report and United States currency. Unemployment, inflation, and interest rate. The data is imported to an Excel database where charts are created to show the ratios change over time. The main methodology used is linear regression, which includes multiple linear regression, which examines the relationship between a dependent variable and multiple independent variable. The 29th edition of SPSS will be used for the 29th edition of SPSS used for the linear regression analysis. We move to the next point, which is data analysis. The study assessed the relationship between independent variables and independent variables using ordinary least squares, or we can call OLS technique. Multiple regression analysis was used to calculate the dependent variables value based on independent variable. IBM SPSS statistic version 29 was used for this analysis. And then SPSS. This study utilized IBM SPSS, which is I use version 29 to analyze annual report data and create descriptive statistic correlation, model summaries, and coefficient tables. The software is very user-friendly and capable of handling complex data processing tasks. Finding and analysis, there are 4 of them, which is descriptive statistic, correlation, model summary, and lastly coefficients. For descriptive statistic, the Coca-Cola company's ROE is 0.333448, indicating a 34.48% profitability. The Coca-Cola company generates $0.3448 in income for every dollar of asset. Next, the company collection period is 35.15 days with a standard deviation of 4.72. Next, external variables include an average inflation rate of 2.462, an interest rate of 1.81, a high unemployment rate of 5.09%, and a stable exchange rate of $1.16. The corporate governance index is stable, but it should be raised to ensure good corporate governance. Next, we move to the correlation. The Coca-Cola company's ROE is negatively correlated with current ratio, average collection period, operation ratio, operating margin, interest rate, and exchange rate. And then the company's ROE is positively correlated with ROA, which is debt to income, inflation rate, and unemployment and CG index. This indicate that as ROE increase, the ratio of debt to income and ROA is decreases. Then we move to the model summary. For the internal factors, the R-square measures the predictive value of independent variable in predicting the variance of profitability. The model use 3 variables, which is 3 independent variable, which is average collection period, ROA, and operation ratio. The R-square value is 0.986, indicating 98.6% of the variance in return on equity. The standard error is 0.4193, indicating autocorrelation in the linear regression model. The adjusted R-square is 0.944, indicating a nearly perfect predictive value. For the external factors, the study analyzed external factors like interest rates, exchange rate, and unemployment to predict profitability variance. The R-square value of 0.840 predicts 84% of return on equity, while 0.160 accounts for 60%. The model fitting effect is almost good, with no external factors accounting for most profitability variation. For the internal and external factors, the model summary analyze internal and external factors affecting company performance using 3 independent variables, which is current ratio, interest rate, and operation ratio. The R-square value is 0.991, predicts 99.1% of return on equity, while 0.9% of profitability variable cannot be explained. The model fitting effect is almost good, with a standard error of 0.0336. The adjusted R-square is 0.964, indicating a nearly perfect predictive value. Next, we move to the coefficient for the internal factors. The study reveals that ROA, average collection period, and operation ratio are not significant to ROE. This is because the p-values are above 0.1. Independent variables such as ROA and average collection period are insufficient to explain that dependent variable, indicating no influence on ROE. Next, external factors. The study reveals that interest rate, exchange rate, and unemployment rate are not significant to ROE, as they are not independent variables. This finding is consistent with Rapella's 2007 finding that one independent variable is insufficient to predict the dependent variables outcome. For internal and external factors, the study shows that current ratio, operation ratio, and interest rate are positively significant to ROE. A declining ratio indicates efficient lowering of operating expenses, while increased interest rate negatively impact the profitability. These independent variables influence the dependent variable, which is ROE. So for the conclusion, operational risk significantly impacts the Coca-Cola company's annual profit and financial performance. To minimize risk, the company must protect the environment and demonstrate social responsibility. Other than that, collaboration and cross-functional strategies, including establishing a risk committee, can improve oversight and prevent committee dissolution. That's all from me. Thank you.